Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery here with our contributors Jeffrey Kare and Cordell Martin. Um, let's talk about music video night. It's a night where that was celebrating the best, iconic moments in music videos, some more iconic than others. Uh, uh, like the Christina Aguilera Candyman video, like not even her most iconic video from her videography. But anyway, but let's start with how it ended. Lele Pons was eliminated from the competition. Cordell, you told me that you weren't surprised by it. I was only surprised by it because she was third on the leaderboard after those team dances. So I thought her fan base would be at least strong enough with that kind of a buffer. What did you think about that? What were your thoughts at that moment?
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't surprised. I knew she was going to be someone that was going to be a surprise elimination as it gotten closer towards the end of the competition. Just felt that she didn't have the opportunity to really find her footing and become a top contender. She was starting to gain that momentum, but I felt like it was a little too late, as there obviously are other stars who have a bigger fan base who aren't the best dancers. So I'm trying to be nice. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but every season you just have those contestants who you feel should go a lot further, but just doesn't have the fan base or really doesn't stand out to make it far.
Yeah, and she was cursed by going first, and those problematic lifts. I think her scores would have been a touch higher if if those lifts had been cleaner.
Uh-huh.
So it made the routine a little bit less, exciting. What did you think about it, Jeffrey?
Well, first let me say that I thought Lele and Brandon did excellent work this past week, but yeah, I mean, on paper it did seem surprising to see them go, but not too surprising in a way, given how competitive this season has become. Coupled with again going first, which we saw how Mira Sorvino suffered from that the week she was eliminated. So, I mean, and I do agree with a lot of what Cordell just said. That yeah, I mean she clearly just didn't have a strong enough fan base as, the others, including, well, you know who.
um, and Lele, seemed to take it in stride. Her partner Brandon seemed a little peeved at the end there, and I don't blame him. I would be a little annoyed too. What did you think about that? Like, it was giving, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the greatest video of all time. Lele had the best music video appreciation of all time. What did you think of that, Cordell?
Yeah, I can understand Brandon's frustration because I mean, he just hasn't had the best luck on the show in terms of getting to the finals. And so maybe he thought this was going to be his opportunity to finally get that moment. And once again, he got screwed over. So I think he's just frustrated with like, I'm trying, guys. Like, you guys support a brother to get him to the finals. So
And what did you think about that, Jeffrey?
Well, I mean, I guess Brandon's probably become the Susan Lucci of Dancing with the Stars at this point. But hey, if Susan Lucci can eventually win an Emmy, hopefully Brandon will find the right partner to make it further than he's gotten so far.
For the record, it took Susan Lucci 21 tries. No, or was it? No, it was 19 tries, and then she got two
yeah.
more nominations.
Yeah.
But let's hope Dancing with the Stars lasts quite a bit longer, because Brandon hasn't been up with the show that long, so
Mhm.
he's got a few years to put in before he's at Susan Lucci numbers.
Yeah, but
Um,
hey, well, although to be fair, so far this is the furthest he's gotten so far, so I guess that counts for something.
True.
yeah, he's moving on up, and I remember like Artem for a while. You know,
Hmm.
couldn't really get very far, and then he got a bachelorette and he ended up winning. So you never know when you're going to get a bachelorette and just win. uh, um, now it was an interesting week because we had sort of an off week for a couple of dancers, and I wonder if it's the choreography. Like Jason Mraz got some criticism, Terry Lawson got some criticism. I honestly thought their performances were solid, but their routines were a little like soft.
Yeah.
For their skill levels. It felt like, like Derek was saying about Jason Mraz, it felt like an earlier in the season kind of routine. And Jason Mraz has been doing more complicated routines in week one, he was doing. So like, maybe they're just not that the pros are not that well acquainted with jazz as a style of dance. Like, what did you think about their performances and the dances themselves that they were doing, Cordell?
I agree. And I think this week was kind of a little off to me as well. I think because they were using a lot of the, audio tracks from the artists. So I think that probably messed up with a lot of the contestants who are used to like the live versions and renditions of those songs. Also wasn't a big fan of the song choices for Jason and Charity. I really thought like for Charity, like I love Janet Jackson, but her and Janet Jackson just does not mesh well. Like it was just too cutesy and just not that, sexiness that Janet brings. It just didn't fit Charity's personality. So luckily she got saved that, Lele was the one to go. But had this been like further down the road with the competition, she could have been a surprise elimination with that performance. So hopefully she rebounds next week as well as Jason, but just wasn't a fan of the song choices. And I think that's what did both of them in this week.
Yeah, I think both of them and like Take on Me by Aha, great song,
Yeah.
but trying to like that video is so dependent on its visuals. Uh,
Yes.
like to try and translate that into dance, it was kind of a losing proposition. What did you think about them, Jeffrey?
Well, I mean, I thought both Charity and Jason did well. Well, I mean, I apparently liked both their performances more than both of you this week. But anyway, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess I can see what you guys mean because, well, maybe not as good as what they've been doing in previous weeks. And again, I don't know if, well, as Cordell mentioned, if the fact that they were dancing to the original tracks had something to do with it, or well, I guess, and or the fact they were rehearsing for two separate dances this past week, well, had something to do with it. I mean, well, I think the latter is possible since, well, we all see you got more you got to work on.
And the best dance of the night, or at least the high scoring dance of the night, individual dance, turned out to be Ariana Madix, which like she's really proving herself. She really channeled Britney like expertly, and it was just an excellent dance. I think it was well choreographed. It was a good blend of the Britney and the dance style. What did you think about that, Cordell? And do you think she's really shaping up to be a top contender?
I think so. I think the judges are really, really, favoring her. It's probably the contestant to really look out for. I can definitely see her being a spoiler to win. As Jason is kind of plateauing a little bit. And Charity, I just don't get the sense the judges really like her, or maybe they don't want another bachelorette to win. So I feel like Ariana is like that spoiler to Sochi in terms of being the top contender and winner.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I agree with a lot of what's just been said. I mean, I thought Ariana and Pasha did incredible work this past week. And yeah, I do think I mean, I still have her in my 5 for who could win, but yeah, I mean, if she continues to excel the next couple of weeks at least, I mean, yeah, I can see her becoming more of a serious threat to win.
And also, I can't not talk about my girl, Allison Hannigan. Her best dance, I was really worried about her on a quick step. And it turned out to be just like she was on it the whole dance, which she hasn't quite been this season. What did you think of her, Cordell? And only say nice things, of course.
We're not even
No,
talking about Harry.
I know. Oh
criticize her
God.
if you want. Yeah.
Oh, no, I thought it was great. To your point, I think she started to come into her own and being more comfortable with just the overall experience, which you love to see on Dance with Stars. Like I love my ringers like anyone else, but I also like seeing those contestants who are kind of like a fish out of water, but you just see the growth and the enjoyment week after week. And I'm glad that she's able to still be in the competition and grow. So hopefully she has a few more weeks left in her before she goes home.
Yes, fingers crossed. What did you think,
Yeah.
Jeffrey?
Oh, I thought in terms of the style, I thought the whole performance was very, very classy. And I will admit, I did just put her in fifth place for my predictions of who will win Dancing with the Stars. I mean, I don't know if she'll actually make it to the finals, but I mean, I will admit it's kind of a placeholder. But you know, again, she could be, I guess, one this year's contestant who really, really improves throughout the season.
And speaking of improvement, as a judge, Paula Abdul spoke in complete sentences. They were decipherable. They were thoughtful. Like, being, a fan of the earlier seasons of American Idol, like she's never really been the most,
Yeah, no.
reliable judge. But when talking about dance, she was suddenly on point. I was surprised. How about you, Cordell?
Yeah, I agree. But this is her like passion right here is dance. So for her, this is just like the back of her hand for her in terms of just that knowledge and being able to articulate and really give the contestants feedback that I think would really help them grow on the show. So she definitely surprised me this week, especially with some of the scores too. I was like, oh, so we're just giving out tens like that. All right, Paula.
Yeah, that was a little sus.
Yes.
A couple of those. What did you think, Jeffrey?
Oh yeah, I agree. I thought she did a great job. I mean, she's obviously had experience being a judge on reality competition shows, but seeing her not only back up, but also in a field of expertise she has in dance, I mean, yeah, she seemed perfect guest judge for, I mean, not only the theme this week, but also just the whole show in general.
And with that, let's get into next week's show. Whitney Houston Night is coming up. It's going to be a tribute, of course, to the iconic Whitney Houston, to music by her. I'm so glad that Allison Hannigan survived long enough to get her contemporary. She will be dancing to "Greatest Love of All." What do you think about that style, that song for her, Cordell?
Hmm. I feel like with this song, it gives me more like a waltz type of vibe. So, you know, uh, it's gonna be interesting. I'm just gonna say that I feel like a lot of these song choices and the dance styles are gonna be either a hit or miss. Hopefully, with her having a great week this week, that she continues to be on the up and up with her scores. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, I think she'll be okay. I think, I don't think this is going to be one of those 10
No.
contemporaries, but I think, as the competition's been progressing, if she stays steady through it, I think we're looking at probably eights and nines again.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I agree with a lot of what's just been said, and seeing how okay she seems to be coming to her own in the competition. So I'm definitely curious to see how she'll do next week, and yeah, it should be interesting to see how she'll do with a contemporary in particular.
Hmm.
Next up, Sochi Gomez and Val Chmerkovsky will perform a tango to "I Want to Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me." I think Cordell, this might be another one of those dance style mismatches. Just because the song is called "I Want to Dance with Somebody" doesn't mean you can dance any dance style to it. That's an odd song for a tango, but it's Sochi. I think it has the potential to be a tens tango. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I love Whitney Houston, like a huge Whitney Houston stan. So this is like irritating me. These dance styles are not matching with these songs. With that said, to your point, I think it's definitely going to be a high scoring dance for her. Um, I feel like with I Want to Dance with Somebody, it gives me more like a cha-cha. Like I think that's the vibe that would work perfectly in terms of the dance style. But Sochi's gonna kill it like always. Definitely gonna be probably one of the top scorers of the night.
Yeah. never anything to worry about with her. What do you think, Jeffrey?
I agree. I don't think we should have anything to worry about with Zochi. I mean, seeing how she and Val perfectly matched, well, in my opinion, perfectly matched the energy of the Hollaback girl this past week, I think there's a ton of potential for her to do well with I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah, she'll find a way to make it work. As long
Yeah.
as there are no costume changes, just stay away from costume changes.
Yeah.
Next up, Ariana Madix and Pasha Pashkov will perform a Paso Doble to Queen of the Night. I'm not actually familiar with that Whitney song. What do you think of that combo, Cordell?
See, now this makes sense. So Queen of the Night was one of the songs from The Bodyguard. So if you get a chance to listen to it, like it definitely screams Paso. I think Ariana's gonna kill it. Definitely can see her receiving high scores with this dance.
Yeah, and their judges are getting used to giving her high scores. So like if she
so
hits it, she's gonna get the 9s and 10s potentially.
yeah.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I think this is definitely an interesting song choice, and seeing how Ariana managed to be the top scorer this past week, well, obviously a lot's going to be riding on her this coming week, and I don't know if lightning will strike the same place twice for her, but hey, I'm certainly interested in seeing what she'll do.
Next up, Charity Lawson and Artem Chigvintsev will perform a Viennese waltz to "I Will Always Love You." I think that's a decent song and style, and it's her back in her comfort zone. It's classy and elegant. She doesn't need to be like in a kind of character that's uncomfortable for her. So I feel like this will probably get her back on track. What do you think, Corda?
I 100% agree. I think this is going to be the dance that's going to get her hopefully a perfect score, if not near perfect. So expecting great things with this dance, and she definitely needs it just to make sure that people don't forget about that she's a great dancer and a contender. So
what do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I agree with what's been said. And yeah, I think, doing a Viennese waltz to a song like that is a perfect match. And yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of potential for Charity to get back on track next week with this. And, I hope she does very well with it.
Jason Mraz and Daniela Karagach will perform the dreaded samba to Higher Love by Kygo and Whitney Houston. I think it's a good match. I'm a little worried about the samba, but because I'm always worried about anyone who has to do a samba. But he nailed rumba, so I don't like. I think he'll have this samba skills. Like he's proven he has the hip action. What do you think, Cordell?
I think so too, and I think what will help him is that he'll have one of the more livelier, fun dances of the night. So I think that'll help him just set himself apart from the other contestants. Could definitely see a bump up in his scores, hopefully. I think he has the personality and the rhythm to really pull off the samba. And I think the song choice really works with the dance style too.
And he needs a moment
He
because he's
does.
one of those stars who started off really strong and has kind of, as you said, Cordell, kind of plateaued. He hasn't had like an arc that you usually need to win the show. What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, yeah, I do hope things aren't going downhill for him at this point in the competition, and seeing how we do get surprise eliminations, I certainly hope he doesn't end up being one, at least not next. But I do think there's definitely, again, potential for him to get back on track. I mean, after all, he stumbled a bit a few weeks ago, but then rebounded the following week. So hopefully he does the same thing this coming week.
Speaking of stumbles, Harry Jousey and Riley, I couldn't resist, I'm sorry, will perform a Viennese waltz to I Have Nothing. I think that's a perfectly fine song for Viennese waltz. Him in hold is going to be a problem. When he's in hold, especially with the height difference, he tends to be a little hunched and very stompy. like very stompy, and he hasn't kind of moved past that. What do you think, Cordell?
Well, in the words of Whitney Houston, I have nothing nice to say, so I'm just gonna pass over to Jeffrey.
Okay. Okay. Now, this past week, I thought Harry and Riley, well, their performance I thought was creative, although it still could have been better. And, well, look, Harry, again, we mean no disrespect to you at all if you happen to be stumbling upon this, but hey, we hope you know, at least, keep doing your best to get better in the competition, and we'll see if you get somewhere this past week. If not, well, then I'm just keeping. Well, I'm just gonna keep that to myself.
Yeah, we and you know what? We are critical of everyone when they have an off night or just off in general. So like we, are not, we never want to be mean spirited, but we're gonna keep it 100. We're gonna keep it 100. Um, Then closing things out for the first round of the competition, Brady Bunch actor Barry Williams and Peter Murgatroyd will perform a rumba to Didn't We Almost Have It All? I can't see Barry Williams doing a rumba. I just don't know what it'll look like. I don't think it plays into his personality really. And it's going to be one of those slower dances that's going to show off a lot of potential mistakes. I am worried about him. I'd say watch out for him to maybe be eliminated if he opens the show. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, clearly the producers have it out for him. They're trying to get Barry out because the rumba and this song choice, once again, just doesn't mesh well. I could definitely see the judges really laying down the hammer on him from a scoring standpoint. Um, it's really going to come down to his fans and his fan support to really get him through this week, because I think this might be the week he might go.
Well, we know he has more fan support than Lele did, but
That's true.
now
Yeah.
that she's gone,
Yes.
who knows? What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, yeah, I mean, let me say for Barry this past week, well, I thought his routine got better as it went on. It was still one of his weaker dances. So I kind of similar to what I just said about Jason. I hope he gets back on track this week. If not, well, then yeah, his days might be numbered, but hey, there's always potential. So, I mean, and again, I do too hope he doesn't go first, since that we've seen how much of a curse that's become.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are the dance-offs, and these are arranged by score, it looks like, the high scoring, the middle scoring, and the lowest scoring, I'm guessing. Although, like, I'm not sure, because Sochi and Charity are battling each other. I guess Charity has a higher cumulative score than Jason, maybe. Um, I don't know. Like, I'd have to do the math, and I'm too lazy to do the math. So let's let them do the math. It's weird because the way these things settled out, these routines are all have kind of obvious potential winners.
Yeah.
Like Sochi and Charity going head to head on the Cha Cha to So Emotional. I think Sochi is gonna not nail that, and probably win that. What do you think, Cordell?
I think so too. Or unless the judges try to throw Charity a bone because they know she's had a few off weeks, and sometimes they like to, play nice sometimes with contestants to boost up their confidence. So I could see it on paper being Sochi, but probably when it's all said and done, probably Charity sneaking out the surprise win.
Yeah, that is the closest of the three. What do you think,
Mhm.
Jeffrey?
Well, yeah, I agree with everything that's just been said. I mean, I think Zochi will most likely win this, but although not impossible for Charity to do so instead.
Yeah. Next up, Jason and Daniela will go up against Barry and Peta. Salsa to It's Not Right, but It's Okay. That's a weird combo as well. But Jason Mraz is going to win. I don't know how the judges would fudge that to give it to Barry.
Yeah,
What do you think, Cordell? Is that just a done deal?
it is. Poor Barry. I'm
Mhm.
sorry for him that This is gonna be a rough week for him. So hopefully he can just push through and his fans can support him because the judges are really gonna come down on him this week, unfortunately.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, again, yeah, well, assuming, Jason and Barry do, better than they did this past week, but even then, yeah, I can see Jason easily winning this. And if only Barry was up against, well, I guess the elephants in the room we're about to get to.
Yes, Harry Jowsey and Allison Hannigan. This a rumba to One Moment in Time, another Whitney Houston song I'm not familiar with, but the rumba I am familiar with from Dancing with the Stars, and I don't think it's gonna be the easiest dance for either of them, but just on track record, like it's hard to imagine Harry's Harry's gonna need to lubricate those hips. Um, yeah, because it's hard for me to see him beating Allison on this one, just from the luck of the draw. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, this is definitely Allison's to lose. If Harry wins, I'm gonna be done with the season because I cannot like just let the poor boy just end on a high note, like to his fans. Like he's done a great job. He made it 8 weeks. Like it's just time for him to close up shop and retire retire from the dance floor. So
What do you think, Jeffrey?
I agree. I think Allison will probably end up winning this, and I certainly hope so for your sake, Daniel. But if Harry wins, I am literally flipping a table.
Well, you never know. Like, it's possible that Allison can make some mistakes, and Harry could be uncharacteristic. Like Harry got a perfect score this week for the team dance. Was I feel like the fix was in on the team dances. Like, I guessed before the second team went up that they were going to get nines. They were just being set up to kind of be the team. And they got nines, except for a 10 from Paula. So, yeah, I have a feel. I think the judges are capable of trying to give him a nice, like, pat on the back kind of bonus points. And it's possible that's reverse psychology. It'll be like, okay, he's been at the bottom of the leaderboard and he survived. Maybe if he's like second or third from the bringing phone, he's second or third from the bottom of the leaderboard. Maybe his fans won't think to come out for him. Maybe he'll go. So with that, what are you expecting? Who are you expecting to win at this point, Cordell? Still Sochi or not?
yeah, I think Sochi is still the one to beat. I could make a case for Ariana. I think she's starting to peak at the right moments and gaining that momentum. Yeah, I think it's between those two. I mean, Charity and Jason are kind of battling for that third and fourth spot right now, but we'll see in the next couple of weeks. And I'm just hoping that Harry does not make it to the finals. So
It's possible. It's
Oh,
possible.
well,
What do you
let's
think,
not
Jeffrey?
speak that. Well, let's not speak Harry making the finals into existence. But anyway, yeah, I
Like I
still have
said, keeping it 100.
yeah, but anyway, it's yes, I still have Zochi winning. I mean, although I can see the case for how Charity and Jason are probably battling out for a third or maybe even second place. But I mean, I actually still have Ariana in fourth. But yeah, if she continues to excel within the next few weeks, I can definitely see myself moving her up a notch.
I've got Sochi winning. I think I've moved Ariana up into third place. I think she might and outlast Charity, unless we have like a final four in the finals, which is possible. But if it's only a final three, I could see that being kind of a surprise that Ariana makes it to the finals and Charity, who was so strong early on, gets eliminated. Especially like if she is having trouble connecting to the music, maybe she's having trouble connecting with fans. Who knows? Bachelor Nation could just be strong enough to get there. So with that, thank you, Jeffrey, and thank you, Cordell, as every week for joining me to discuss Dancing with the Stars. Thank you to everyone for watching and continue to follow along with our coverage at goldderby.com. with far fewer ringing phones. Thank you very much, and we will see you next week.